think the car needs some shocks. There are literally no shocks under this guy, on the rear. So, I got the hatch open, obviously. I had to crawl in through the back, unbolt the latch, and it's still on the car, rusted solid. I looked at the other one over here, the cedar green latch, and it's even worse. So, since we're here and we're doing all this, let's talk about these. You just touched it, and it crumbled. I mean, look at this. It's just so brittle. So I peeled it all off, and it looks fine. You know, it's like the Volvo. And even here, you can see up here, this really isn't very good. It shrunk so bad, and it's supposed to sit right up there to the seal. And especially now with that vinyl gone, it looks kind of out of place. But we get rid of this metal, and I've seen some of the estates in England. See, this panel here fits right up into this channel right there. So we just get rid of this part, fold this vinyl over, and run that into that channel, and then you have all this painted stuff here. It looks like a seatbelt hole there. So that's what we're gonna do. See, all this stuff came off. And that one, look at this. This side was even worse. Look at it. Ow, it's stabbing me. See, it's just, nah. And that one there, I put my hand on it and it just popped, it crumbled. That one's all split too. So those are gonna come off, that's gonna come off. Those C pillars are coming off. B pillars are staying. Ooh, we got a tear in the headliner that I didn't see before. Damn. We gotta be careful. Anyway, this bastard right here is what needs to be removed somehow. As you can see, it's pretty rotten. And I don't know how to get it undone. I don't know. We'll see. But I need to get this thing into the garage. So that's what we're gonna work on. Okay, I've been kind of busting my butt the last few hours on the Cricket here. It took me several hours to do this fender. So up inside here, there's a couple screws, and you know, they're Phillips screw heads, and they're stuck. So I just drilled them out, drilled the heads off. This fender is junk. The only reason I saved it is it's pretty straight, but it's really, really rusty. I mean, totally rusted out, totally rusted out, totally rusted out, but it's straight. So the idea is to just bondo up all the holes, make this thing perfect, and use it as a buck to build a fiberglass fender. I was going to make like bubble flares, kind of like the Mark I Escort, but whatever, I'm just kind of holding on to them. These were in the shed. No, I didn't pull it off of this car. That one, as you can see, still has its fender for now. Eventually that fender is going on this car. So I just threw it on there for the hell of it. But that's what I've been doing. The doors will come off real easy. I knew the fenders were going to be a pain in the butt, so I jumped on that first. I still need to work on this. And here it is without the fender. So rust here isn't too bad. There's a little bit there, which they all seem to be pretty rotten here. This one's not bad. And a little bit right there. Again, that's not bad compared to a lot of them. I've been looking at some of them on ASOC and various forums, and this car's in pristine condition compared to some of them. But they have access to all that stuff easily. I don't. So these are the two screws. I just had to drill the heads off. And then this one here, I had to drill that one off. This is really thin, really flimsy. The bottom is rotten. Again, these are always rotten. This headlight thing's rotten, but I think I've decided to put the square headlights on this car. You see this lower panel's completely rotten. See a nice hole there. Yep. I got a rust hole down there. But this is fine. I don't know that those are generally a problem, but they were. This one isn't. So, I hope that's sealer and not rust buildup. Anyway, so now I get to go jump over on the other side and do that one. Yesterday we had a hell of a windstorm and just grit and dirt, sand blowing around. It was pretty terrible. I mean, look at all this buildup here. That's all pretty much from yesterday. The springs will look pretty good. It's too bad none of this stuff's going to get used on this car. But I got to pull this off before it gets ruined. Oh, tired. There was a hell of a buildup of sand underneath the grill, and of course Luke came over and started cleaning it off for me, so you don't get to see that, but there you go. Alrighty, I'm going to jump over on the other side, and I don't even think I'm going to try to pull those bolts. I'm just going to drill them out. So that's it for now. Okay, so I have gotten the car pretty well dismantled. I'm going to pop this windshield out. These windows for now are going to stay because I don't know if this rubber is available at all. And you can see the horrendous rot. Frame rail rusted through. So I had plans for this car. Actually, I had plans for this car, but I had plans for this car once I got it. So, this car, Cricket number 4, the patina Cricket, the floorboards are wasted. They're even worse than the car I traded for this one. So, in the frame rails, I didn't see any holes in them, but there's a lot of scale. So I'll have to get back underneath there and look at them again. So I had no plans. I mean, I love this car. I love the look of this car. I love the patina. I was gonna steal the door off of it for this car, which I may still do, but I really don't want to do that because I don't want to interrupt you know, the look of it. I want to drive this car, but I didn't want to put a bunch of work into it if the chassis was gone. I didn't want to hack up a bunch of patches, you know. So the plan was for this car to cut, I'll use the wagon as an example, basically cut just inside here all the way back. So cut the entire floor out of the car, everything, and just leave a body shell. Pull the body shell off, cut the body off of that Celica, drop the Cricket body on it, weld it all together, and basically have a 77 Celica with a Cricket shell. So everywhere I go, parts. Excuse the mess. Okay, so here on the Cricket, you have this floor, this nice flat floor, and then the seats can fold down. As a matter of fact, I found out that not only do the seats fold down and then you have all this room, you turn this little thing on the hinges and then the seat kind of goes forward. You have to put the front seats all the way forward, and then the back seat goes all the way to the end of them, sits down, you know, then the top part folds down, and then this becomes like a flat bed. Pretty cool. So you have, I don't remember the measurements, but you have so much space between sides here. The frame rail runs right there, right up against the inside of the fender well. And these fender wells, they're not real thick. You can't get a real wide tire in here. The frame rails in this car back here are about 2 inches, maybe, below that floor. And there's just dead space in there. There's a couple little thin cross braces that run across, but that's it. Now, on this Celica, that's where we run into the problem. I never thought about it before because when I was going to swap it onto the sedan, it wouldn't have mattered because it would have been in the trunk right behind the back seat. Not a problem. But this car, let me show you. Well, unfortunately, I got to unpack all this stuff again to get to it. So let me find you an image online. You know, because I might have said this already, but I'll go over it again. Finding cricket parts in America is impossible. Finding cricket parts in Britain it's not really hard, and the parts are fair priced, but the shipping is what gets you. For instance, a friend of mine over there just sent me a pair of taillight lenses and a square headlight grille. The shipping on those items came to about 120 bucks. So 120 bucks for the parts was great because he gifted them to me, Christmas present. Awesome dude. He and I have had some interactions. Trying to keep one of these on the road as a Cricket is going to be somewhat difficult because nobody's got brake calipers for them anymore. You have to rebuild the ones you have. Kits are about 40 bucks per caliper. Or if I remember correctly, the last time I rebuilt the ones on that car, but I had to buy 4 kits because they're 2 piston calipers and the kit only comes with one piston. So we have to do that. And then like wheel cylinders, you have to order them from England. Brake shoes, I can get them on eBay actually. Master cylinders, I got them on eBay as a new old stock unit, but I bought 2 now. Of an old stock brand new one. They're about 100 bucks and they're bad because everything's dried up from sitting. The seller was cool twice now. He sent me a kit to rebuild it. I rebuilt it myself. I'm not really going to fight on it. I have gotten the remans from Cardone. I went through 4 of them and finally gave up and bought the brand new one, which I had to rebuild. So that's the stuff you have to deal with. The ball joints in the front end, they're about 200 bucks a piece. That's lower control arm with the ball joint. And then shipping to get them here. So you're probably going to be about 300 bucks for lower ball joints. That's just for the parts. Rack bushings. I think I found somebody in New Zealand that makes metal ones. I haven't really looked into that very deep. Those are all parts. You have to get struts. You have to find them in England somewhere. Now I'm lucky enough that this car, when I rebuilt the front end, I had a set of Coney strut inserts that were still good. And then that car has Coneys in it as well. This car, the Patina Cricket, seems to drive pretty nice and the shocks, struts work. That car, they're shot. They're just on there to make the car roll. That stuff you can't get. I find something else to make it fit, but that's as close as I can get. So, my plan was when I got this wagon was to drop it on that Celica. As I'm getting into the car, and I could do some more measuring, but I'm pretty much there. It's not going to work. And well, it would work, but it's not going to work the way I want it to work, and I'll show you why. Okay, so we're going to pretend that this Cricket is that Celica. Okay, so the problem I was having, again, it wouldn't be a problem on this car because those shocks and all that gusseting, you cut the gusset off right above the shocks and attach it to the inside of this Cricket. Otherwise, it doesn't matter because it's right behind the back seat out of the way. But then you got this car, which has a wider floor and narrower fender wells. So that gusseting in the Celica would come up here, and you'd have to tie it in here, but the shocks would be way inside here, and the frame rails are here. These are actually the shock bolt holes for the Cricket, which I thought about just putting Cricket shocks on it because the lower mount is over there. But tying all that together, because the Celica frame rail is like here, but the Cricket frame rail is way over here. And the Celica uses 14-inch wheels that are wider. So basically, that shock mount would be here, right here with the gusset, here going up here. So I wouldn't be able to use the Cricket seat. I wouldn't be able to use the Cricket bed. I'd have to hack up the back, and so it would definitely affect the usefulness of the wagon, which I want the wagon because it looks cool, not because I'm going to use it as a wagon. I've got my Volvo for that, which I'm actually going to sell the Volvo, but anyway. So see, I've got all that space here, and I would lose most of it. I'd have about 30 inches, maybe 3 feet, instead of 4 feet, 4 or 5 feet. So I've been hemming and hawing and worrying about it. So I think I made a decision tonight that I'm going to go back to plan A with this, and this is going to get dropped on the Celica. This car is going to get effectively cut in half. So this body seam right here, I believe is the right one. Drill out all these spot welds, and I'll just cut the rockers since they're shot anyway. And then I've got to get to the leaded seam. Here, I'll use the patina Cricket because you can see it better. So I'd have to melt out this lead and get to the spot welds here. And we'd get to those spot welds there on top of the rocker. And then the fun part happens. We will have to get to all these spot welds on the inside, I think, which means I'll have to pull the headliner, which I don't think it's going to survive being pulled. I don't know. So once I do that, I'll separate the back half of this car and the roof from this nasty, rusty front end. I'll come over here to the 71 and do the same thing. This car has very little rust. The rockers are solid. Fenders, I think the other fender over there has a little quarter-sized hole in it. The floorboards, I think right where the toe board meets the floor is the only rust it has. Just in the front, which you can't really see because it's dark. Yeah, you can kind of see light shining up through there. That's it. That's all back here is fine. That is bad. It's already gutted and stripped, so I can do the cutting and drilling and whatever. I've got this nasty booger to fix, but it's not rusted out, so that takes care of that part. I've got good fenders. That takes care of that part. This door is the original factory door off of that Cricket. And my dad was very hard on doors. It is full of filler. All through here. All through there. And had a bunch of cracks here. This door's junk, but the other door is actually good. So you have this damage here. This is from my grandpa's old Chevy rolling down the driveway, slamming into the side of the car, shoving it into the side of my trailer. Not that one, but one like that one. You see the fender right there? So when the front of grandpa's truck hit it, that's the bumper, did all that damage down there, and then the grill did this little damage. Shoving it into the trailer, I think I've already knocked most of this out, but you can see this curved dent here. That's from right here, actually. That's from the fender on the trailer. So this fender was wrecked when the car was 2 years old. It's just wasted. Here, I'll show you the pictures when I ground the Bondo out. So it needs this quarter replaced. It needs this quarter replaced, absolutely. The other one I can probably fix. But other than that, it's junk. The roof's got a bunch of little kind of little dings, you know, whatever. No big deal. So, and of course the interior shot. No headliner. There's nothing, it's just bare metal basically. Seats aren't really any good. It's got some Mazda truck seats which are really comfortable. Would be great in the wagon. So that's what we're gonna do. This car will take care of that front valance. It'll take care of the inner and outer rockers. It'll take care of the frame rails. The jacking boxes are actually pretty crushed on this from it being jacked up so many times. But they're not rusty. So I think that's going to be the plan. You know, as I'm working on this car, I'm finding more and more and more rot. And it's still not that much compared to a lot of people's. Still not going to be that hard to fix, but it's just so much of it. And swapping this onto the Celica is just not much more work. I'm not opposed to it. I'm going to still do it, but I don't want to lose the wagon functionability of this car, so it's just not going to happen. And I just discovered this rust here. Right here on both sides, the cowl is rotten. This panel needs to stay. All this stuff down here can go in the trash, but that needs to stay. So all of this will go away. This car provided all the best parts for that car. So everything that went back on it was the best of my wore out junk. The rear axle in this car, the gears and inner bearings are fine, but the axle shaft bearings are shot. The backing plates are shot. So we'll need to swap out the rear axle anyway. The struts are shot. The steering rack needs to be rebuilt, needs bushings. The engine ran good. The automatic transmission that's in it had some issues. So that is a problem, but I don't know if it's insurmountable. I don't think the tranny in this car is usable. I'm pretty sure it's not. I actually have a title for that one. So this car can go to fix other cars. This middle panel, I can actually cut the bottom of that off and make it work on the wagon, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use the one off of the Celica, actually, because it's a donor problem. This panel, I drill the spot welds. I can use it on the patina Cricket, or I can use it on my green one because they're both shot. Yeah, that's going to be the plan. What I need to do, I've got body measuring sheets on sedans. I don't have anything on a wagon, so I need to figure that out. But I'm calling it a night. I do need to still get on the garage and all this mess here. I need to get that done soon. But I'm tired, so I'm gonna go in. Hello. I am under the weather yet again, so bear with me. So I am kind of looking this thing over while I'm working on Luke's Christmas present over here. That's a whole other story. If you want to hear about it, leave your request in the comments and I will tell you the story behind it. But yeah, anyway. There we go. The sun's not in my face now. Okay. So, like I said last night, I changed my mind on the Celica swap, and I'm going back to basically splitting the 71 Aztec Gold car in half and turning it into a wagon using the back half of this car. So far in my internet search, nobody else has done this. I am going to make various requests on Facebook groups and forums to see if anybody else has done it, or at least done something similar. And I was looking in my factory service manual that has the sedan body panels. So it shows kind of an exploded view of all the body panels, like before they're welded together. And let me show you what I found. It's a little better view right now than last night. You can see how little rust was here. See, there's a few pinholes. Which is weird because, you know, there's nothing. There's nothing at all. And then there's one like little flake. And it's like a pinhole. Little flake and it's like a pinhole. Boop, 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 you know. but realistically, it's out here. Like this can all be probably hit with the Scotch-Brite wheel. Cut this out and replace it. The other problem, you see my crappy welds. This is one of the very first things I did years and years and years and years ago. Yeah, that was with my old welder, which absolutely sucked. So the automatic cars have a much wider tunnel, and this was a manual car that I converted to automatic, so I had to put the automatic tunnel in it, and I didn't do a very good job on it. So I'll probably go back with my newer welder and just kind of clean everything up. Now the car I took this tunnel out of was incredibly rusted out, like way worse than even the wagon. So that's why I've got these patches on the bottom, because, you know, halfway up the tunnel it was just rusted out. But a lot less rust to patch. But I digress. That's not why we're here. What we're here for. So you've got this inner panel here, kind of like an inner seal, which goes back, and it's exclusive to the sedan. It might even be the same on the little two-door, but I don't know, because they never imported the two-doors. But so you would drill these spot welds right here, and this stuff would all go away. This inner panel would stay, and we'd be good. The problem is the panel right behind this one, you can feel the spot welds here. And then there's a few spot welds here. But see, then you have this piece that covers it, so I don't know how you get behind that. And that's just one piece of metal, so I'm not really sure what to do there. Ugh. You've got this piece here, right? This inner piece. That's just one piece, and it goes all the way down. That has to be removed. And so from what I'm seeing here, you've got all these spot welds, I think, that need to be drilled, because I believe that this is one piece of metal. I don't think that's a seam, I think that's an indention. And you would probably drill these, because this probably goes down in there. So I think it's going to be more of a pain in the ass than I really want to deal with. But I think this is going to be the hardest part. I think even if I have to cut it up here somewhere, and then just lap weld it, I think it can be done, but I'm not sure what that would do for the strength of everything. So you have this leaded seam, this part right here, it's all lead. You can see right there, it's where the roof skin panel meets the A-pillar. And you can see the lead and the sanding marks. I would have to drill all of these little spot welds to remove the outer skin from the inner structure. But see, it looks like a whole bunch of spot welds in there. I'm gonna have to check with people. You have this spot of rust there. Let's see. And the other problem is this has that chrome. I don't think there's any way to remove this without damaging it, and I don't think there's any way to do this job without removing it. I really don't want to remove it. I don't know. Let's see, we've got all these spot welds. I think I have to drill all those. I've got a 3/8 spot weld, which is much too big. Hey, there's a dent. Maybe I need to get a 5/16 spot weld. Believe it or not, this rust is not anywhere near as bad as it looks. It's all from the leaves just sitting on the roof. But this would stay. I would drill all these spot welds out. Probably one right there. And then these just little tack welds, get rid of those. This rust really isn't all that bad either, it's just scale. We got rust. But that would get away from all this stuff. Same thing here. Same thing here. What I'll probably do is, at least on this car, is just cut out this whole corner. Just cut it out. There, you know. Cut a big chunk there. Cut this there. Cut the floor probably there, because this actual seam is there, but these would have to be cut off of this and moved over onto the sedan floor. Maybe this whole thing, I don't know, I'll have to check and see if they're any different. If they are, honestly, if they are, what I'd probably do is, like on that car, I plan on cutting to this side. And then I might just overlap this whole thing. So frame rail is going to have to be, all these spot welds are going to have to be drilled. A lot of work. But you know, once you do like a real rough cut on it, like here, I'd like to keep this roof skin in one piece because I may end up using this roof skin on that car to get away from the sunroof. But, you know, if I cut it, there's that seam. So if I cut it, you know, here, you know, just across, that way I can get this body off of it. The rocker is excellent. It's got a pretty good sized dent in it, but it's not rusty at all. But that would do both of these front fenders. The hood that's on the green car really wasn't bad. This one had a pretty good dent in it, and I fixed it back in like 2000, and I don't know, I mean, I'm not a body man, but I do know that my skills have improved since then. So I don't know, you get that one little spot of rust right there, but you've got this excellent fender. The only real damage is here. It's a little dent, and there's another one on the other side because I was an idiot and I put a piece of pipe across the fenders to hold the engine up. Of course, it dented the fender. Oh yeah, and then this front panel, like I said last night, I got it straightened out. There's a pretty good spot right there. That's damaged. That's where the pizza delivery guy hit him. But all the stuff would be on this car. I don't have to worry about it. I can take all that suspension that I just rebuilt and put right into this car. I don't have to worry about any of this. I can save that panel there. This sort of patch. Oh man. But I think I will go inside and contemplate. All right, that's it for now.